you.
It's sex and drugs and dib and dob in the all-new soft drug shagadelic scout movement these days. Thousands of scouts were recently questioned on their attitude to life's little vices, and it appears that they haven't read Scouting for Boys. Baden-Powell didn't much take to inebriation and random sex acts, but the scouts in the noughties certainly do. 80% said that they regularly drank too much, and half said they smoked dope. Almost all of them said that they favour sex before marriage, and that they would probably have affairs after they got married. It's not a scouting jamboree, it's a hippie love-in with badges. Perhaps this is why uptight, repressed teens who stay away from such regimented shenanigans are rowing with their parents so much. They're missing out, they know it, they just can't face wearing the shorts. But now it's said that a shouting match a day between parents and teenagers is a mark of a successful relationship. A conflict a day keeps the psychiatrist away, as it's a way the teenager can articulate their feelings through reasoned argument, says a researcher. Like screaming that they hate you and slamming the doors. Yes, most constructive. What they need most, of course, is sleep. They need to become airline pilots. Planes fly with two pilots in case one becomes incapacitated. This foolproof measure was tested when both pilots on a 30-minute flight took a nap at the controls and were only woken by the incessant whining from air traffic control, moaning that they'd overshot the runway by 15 miles. "Stop bothering me," they shouted. "You're always having a go. It's so unfair." Perhaps they used to be scouts and they were just sleeping it off. The airline in question offered no comment. A spokesman for the passengers said... You imagine that? It was in Hawaii. It was a 30-minute flight. What would they possibly have been doing to fall asleep, both of them, during a 30-minute flight? I mean, you'd think that flying a plane would be quite exciting. Even if you've done it a lot, there'd be a frisson of tension in the air, just a little bit, because if it's a 30-minute flight, most of it's taking off and landing. The exciting parts, the bit in the middle, very, very boring. I mean, if you're on a flight from here to, let's pick a country at random, shall we? Thailand. It's a 12-hour, 13-hour flight, something like that. I bet both the pilots on my flight were busy eating, giving each other a top-secret Thai massage, fraternising with the air staff, and we should be grateful that they managed to keep one eye open during landing. But on a 30-minute flight, I mean, you're taking off, that's about 10 minutes, and you're landing. You have to get ready for landing. So, in other words, they slept in the 10-minute boredom gap in between taking off and land. That's ridiculous. They must have been very, very tired. Well, what are they drinking? Hawaii, Mai Tais, and things with coconuts in them. What's the drink with coconuts in them that everyone... I want to say everyone used to drink. They even used to have a song about it. They used to drink it so much. Pina colada is the right answer.
Has it got a little umbrella in it?
Pina colada. Everybody!
Has it got one of those little umbrellas?
Oh, come on, Raj. Sing us a song. Get up and dance.
That one, I'm afraid.
I'll sing it, you dance. Go ahead.
No,
do you like walking in the rain?
Do I like walking in the rain? I love it.
Well, then, I've got somebody that maybe you want to pop a little letter in the post to. What were you going to say, Alex?
Is it one of those drinks that comes with a little umbrella in it?
Yes, I'm almost certain that it does. All the best drinks do, yeah. Whenever I ask for a lager top, I always ask for an umbrella. The looks I get, you wouldn't believe it. I'll have a lager top with an umbrella in it and a baby sham shooter. So we're doomed, by the way. I hate to break the bad news to you, but the screens in the city were showing red all day long. A Ferrari red colour, the type of cars that they will shortly try to be flogging off cheap, because they can't afford to run them anymore. And most of the rest of us are thinking, it's all come to roost. Well, they were profligate with their money. They were doling it out left, right and centre to dopes who couldn't afford to pay it back, because they thought, how could we possibly lose? Well, now they're counting the ways. And they're, the various banks are throwing money at it like a drunken sailor on leave. President George Bush...
Absolutely.
...was today preparing to make an emergency statement on the economy as global stock markets crashed. The White House said Mr. Bush would address the nation as shares around the world tumbled and the US economy lurched towards recession. Yeah, that's what you want in the eye of an economic storm, is George Bush telling you everything's going to be all right. It came as the... that's the vocal equivalent of how Kate Moss looks in photographs. It came as the crisis at Wall Street investment bank Bear Stearns sparked a panic in London. And that, by the way, is my favourite Wall Street investment bank, if I were to choose. London, Washington, and all points beyond are gripped with panic. Fears are growing that the emergency intervention by the US Federal Reserve in recent days will not be enough to stave off the R word. Recession. The Fed and the Bank of England have pumped billions into the market since the autumn, but there's no sign of stability returning. Now, we had a little recession a little while ago. Do you remember that? No, not really. Do you remember we had a recession? I can't even remember what year they were.
Early 90s, maybe?
You're just wild stab in the dark. You might as well. Early 90s, that covers at least 5 years, doesn't it? It's a pretty good bet. Well done, Raj. Banking shares across Europe and the US fell as lending came to a halt a day after Bear Stearns was bought by JP Morgan for threepence halfpenny. The FTSE 100 tumbled more than 150 points in London, and banking stocks, with banking stocks leading the sell-off. I don't know about you, but I'm concerned with the money in the bank. I've started to open accounts here, there, and everywhere, baby, because I had the what little cash that I do have in a bank in Iceland that no one has ever heard of. I think it was some bloke in a fjord somewhere who just stuffed the money under his mattress. He put it in an igloo in the back of his garden. Extremely safe there. He put it on ice, literally and figuratively. But you come to find out, if you've got more than a certain amount of money, then you've lost it all if the bank goes belly up. Can you turn that TV away from me? I can't concentrate when there's flashing images. I'm like a parrot or a dog or, like a baby, like a cat, something like that, attracted by shiny things. Top of your head is one of them, Raj. You want to wear a hat. The FTSE 100 index tumbled more than 150 points, which doesn't sound a lot, but they're freaking out over there. It came as Chancellor Alistair Darling unveiled restructuring... That's really unfortunate. I mean, have you ever heard of a bloke called Darling? That's the first time I've ever heard of that as a surname. Darling. It just makes everything about him ludicrous. And that's even before you've seen his eyebrows.
Maybe it's a stage name.
Do you think those eyebrows are performed by a stunt double? How can the hair so close together have no relation to each other in terms of colour? I mean, there's about, what would you say the distance between his eyebrows and his hairline is?
We're looking at 10 inches.
The size of his forehead is huge. Have you noticed that? But it's not very far away. You'd think the stuff that grows out of the top of his face would be, close. But it's not. One's bright white and the other's dark black. It looks like he's forming his own checkerboard. Very bizarre-looking human who has the misfortune to be called Darling. Al Darling. He unveiled restructuring plans for Northern Rock to safeguard the continuation of state aid. Oh, about 6 months too late. Well done, mate. Shares in Alliance and Leicester fell 12 percentage points. See, that's the difference between Northern Rock and the Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns went on into crisis on Friday morning and was bought and sold and splayed out like a kipper and wrapped up for, do you want to eat it here or take it away, by Friday afternoon. They did it like that. Northern Rock just reeled from one crisis to the next over a 6-month period, while everybody in the, who should have been on watch was saying, like that. They were too busy selling off our gold. I wonder how cheaply we can get rid of this stuff, they said. It's just cluttering up the place. Where can we get rid of... Yes, please, somebody, we'll pay you to come and take it away. Shares in Alliance and Leicester fell 12 percentage points. Halifax owner was down 10. Barclays was off 8 as trading screens across the city turned red. The FTSE 100 index fell 175 points.
Oh, no!
Oh, yes. Sandy Chen of some city broker company has been downbeat about British banks since the credit crunch took hold last August, but today said, we think the situation has worsened even beyond our bearish expectations. Veteran trader Terry Smith, chief executive of the special city broker, said, it does scare me. I've been working in finance in the city and worldwide for 34 years, and I've never seen anything like this. I don't think anybody alive has seen events of this seriousness and magnitude affecting the financial markets. You know, you hear a little bit about it and you say, it's a bit bad, we might get another recession. We've lived through a recession in recent memory, and it didn't seem like much happened. I can't remember anything about it. A few people might have lost their jobs, but people lose their jobs on a daily basis. But people weren't, wandering the streets asking, hey buddy, can you spare me a dime, were they? They weren't throwing themselves out of upper-story windows. You didn't have to wear a metal umbrella as you walked the streets of the city to protect yourself from falling executives. It came and it went, and nothing much happened. But this seems to be of a different magnitude entirely. Jim Reed of the Deutsche Bank said, even though we believe that the pain should be felt after such an unruly credit binge, we also think we're close to a financial system meltdown. Now, what on earth can that mean? Does that mean that the money that you've got in the bank actually might just disappear before your very eyes? You might like it, but not a lot. David Bulk or Buick of some other company said that the market was in the depths of despair. Everyone is asking, who's next? Is there a Bear Stearns in Europe? Could investment banks start to fall? The Bank of England today ploughed another £5 billion of emergency funding into the money markets. The banks have asked for nearly 5 times this amount. They might as well have set fire to it. They have bear and bull markets, don't they? And I think bull means everything's going super fantastically. Thanks for asking. Bear is everyone's running for the exits. But bears and bulls are very masculine animals, very aggressive, masculine. They've got no end of spunk about them. I think that the markets would probably be better off if they were governed by more feminine and wily and cute and weird animals. If they had a cow market, for instance, the world might be a better place. Something to think about. 7:45. LBC Travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. If you're heading on to the trains just now.
And I can't stand him.
Hey, we're giving away a 42-inch Samsung Plasma TV every day this week in our How Low auction. Every home should have one. It looks great even when it's switched off. It's got technology in it. It's high-definition ready, and you really do want one of these. Somebody won one for 134p the other day. We are giving them away. It's a How Low reverse auction. That is, the person with the lowest unique bid wins. If you want to get in with a chance of winning it, text LBC plus your bid in pence to 88821. If it was 123p or £1.23 in old money, then it would be LBC 123 to 88821. Bids cost £1.50 plus your standard network rate. Lines close at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Bidders must be over 16. See the website lbc.co.uk for full terms and conditions. Now, there's in that Nick Ferrari trail, he was talking about the Heathrow, the new terminal at Heathrow, and it was going to make children anxious and fat. And when he said it, I thought, wouldn't that be a great name for a rock band? Anxious and Fat. It would be honest. It would be modern. I think somebody should give it a go.
Why don't you start one?
Yeah,
an LBC band.
I'll do that straight away. Yeah, who should be in the band for LBC? We need somebody. You could be our MC in that you look like Sam the Eagle from the Muppets. Alex could be on drums in that he looks like the animal from the Muppets, and then I'll run out.
We could have you as lead singer.
No, I'd be on the sound desk because I don't like the spotlight. You know me.
Not one to promote yourself.
No, that's right, yeah. I always like hiding in the shadows. That's why I do radio. I could never do television because the bright lights and the people looking at me. I just cannot have people looking at me when I'm conducting my art.
Modern art is rubbish.
Well, modern life is rubbish. But one of the things that slipped out almost unnoticed was this for Heathrow. The people at BAA... You know when you go to Heathrow and you're taking somebody to drop them off there? And you just go around, you get the bags out your boot, you hug and kiss, hope that you'll see them again, because they're going on a hairy plane, and then you drive off. No harm done. Now, they're saying that they want to charge you, guess how much for just doing that? That's right, £20. Can you believe it? 20 quid. just to drop someone off. Now, I'm not talking about parking. Just for the pleasure of going onto their property to drop someone off at the departure gates. 20 quid. That is absolutely staggering. They also want to charge a minimum £20 to use the car park at the airport. So, if you, like, say you showed up 3 hours early, as you're supposed to do these days, and you dropped people off, and they didn't want to spend, 3 hours just moping about the airport on themselves, by themselves, despite the fact that airports are really, really interesting to spend a lot of time in.
Boring!
Then, if you dropped them off and then you went to park in the short-stay car park just to have a coffee with them for half an hour, that would cost you 40 quid. That's just beyond belief, isn't it? It means that, like I just said, according to documents seen by the Standard, it's in the Standard today, BAA says the new charging regime would help pay for the cost of the expansion of Heathrow, raising up to £137 million a year. It would also, this is where it gets cute, mitigate air quality problems. That's right, they're doing it to help us. The documents say that a charging scheme has merit because the on-airport and perimeter road network is very busy, with a substantial majority of the flows being airport-related. Well, they would be. It's an airport. They continue, air quality is a significant issue in the Heathrow area, and NO2, what's that? Nitrogen dioxide? Did I get that right? Nitrogen dioxide! Oh, boy, it's a 100% success rate so far. I should quit now. Nitrogen dioxide concentrations being particularly problematic. So that's right. They're not charging you 20 quid to make money. They're doing it to protect the environment. I can still not remember the very first television advert, which was about protecting the environment. And this was ages ago, really, before the eco-green movement and all the, the hippie sandal-wearing, all the people with Weetabix complexions and, the whole yoghurt munching thing came to the fore. Some woman striding across the grass, and I'm sure it was for a washing powder, saying that she was using this particular washing powder in order to do her bit to protect the environment. And she dropped the T off the end, which is why I always say it like that. Can't remember what it was. Can remember the advert, can't remember the product. So in other words, it failed.
If there was decent public transport to Heathrow, you wouldn't be so annoyed, or you wouldn't, be as likely to take the car.
Correct.
But getting there it's a joke, really, isn't it, for the main airport in London? It's like you take the tube with everyone else who's going on the tube normally.
Or you do what I did and foolishly expect the tube to be working on a Sunday, which caused amusement all round. I'll tell this one more time. I got off the plane having spent it in the air for 13 hours, at which point you want to be in bed right now. But I got off at Heathrow and walked through, it looked like they'd just nailed it. It looked like they'd nailed it together, like a team of blind people had nailed it together from cardboard that morning. It is shocking. I think it was Terminal 3. Terminal being the operative word. It looked like it was dying. And you go through and you walk and you walk and you walk and you walk. And did I mention that you walk and walk and walk to the underground part? And you go on, and they have travellators right now, and the travellators you see them in many places, in many countries. And often they will go faster than the speed of walking. This one went, I think it was going so slow, time was actually going into reverse. It was absolutely chronic. I could feel, I was clean-shaven at the beginning and had a full beard at the end. I've never been so slow in all my life. And of course I've hurt my knee. Oh, poor baby.
Stop whining.
So I couldn't walk. So the travelator was like manna from heaven. But I felt foolish standing still on this thing as grannies on crutches were walking past me, off the travelator. They were walking on still ground, going faster than I was. I felt like an idiot. I wanted to say to everyone that was overtaking me, I've got a sore knee. Like in this building, every time I go up and down, I go one floor in the lift. The cleaners, the Polish cleaners, happened to be, it was so embarrassing. I was in a packed lift, they had all their kit, and they were coming from one floor to the next, and I'd get in on floor 2 and get off on floor 3. Oh, they had a good laugh about that. So I exaggerated my limp as I left.
Did you point to your leg and kind of mouth?
No, they said something to me, which caused much merriment in the lift. But I don't know what they said. I think it was in English, but I couldn't fathom the accent. But they thought it was hilarious. I looked confused. Must have thought I was, these lazy British people. What they must think of us, really. It's shocking, isn't it? And I'm adhering to their worst notions of what we're like. We disgust me. This is LBC 97.3.
Autism.
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
The old bag's right. I was in town yesterday and they had St. Patrick's Day, I don't know, shindig?
Celebrations.
Yeah, that's right, celebrations. St. Paddy's Day celebrations, yeah. People wandering about, dressed in green, with foot-high foam hats on. You look daft, people. Why? Can anybody explain to me why we do this? We don't need an excuse to drink, so you can put that reason away right now. Neither do we need an excuse to have a... And I absolutely hate using this word. Could it not be another word? Crack. I don't care how you spell it, it's horrible. Oh, we're just out for the crack. It's vile. Anyway... I'm mystified. Do the Irish celebrate St. George's Day? No, they do not. We don't even. So why do we celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
Maybe it's so we can take part in other people's culture.
What, drinking?
Well, it's not just drinking, is it? There's Irish food and Irish revelry.
I was at breakfast in a hotel in Thailand. You know when you hear English accents or... people speaking English when you're on holiday in a foreign place, you just cringe inside. I know I do. I don't want to see an English person from the moment I leave until the moment I get back. Because you are associated with whatever actions they perform. He was sitting there regaling this sweetly smiling Thai lady friend at breakfast, who was considerably more lovely than he was. This was at breakfast, and he just went on and on and on. I wanted to kill him. I wanted to take my grapefruit knife and stick it in his windpipe. He said, the Irish pubs, they're the best. Irish pubs are the best in the world. Do you know why? Oh, you can drink at Irish pubs. We got Irish pubs, so we got like 50 Irish pubs where I come from, and I've got drunk in every one of them. And he just, in this vein, he went on and on and, we got Irish pubs here. I went to the Irish pub here last night and it was great, it got thrown out. Oh, they're the best pubs in the world. In that sort of level of aggression, shouting at breakfast, ruined my buffet. She's just sweetly smiling, as they do. She probably didn't, I don't know whether she just tuned him out. Or whether that she just fixed her face in a smile and gone on a little mental holiday.
Maybe she couldn't speak English.
Well,
it was just yes, washed over her.
Yeah, that would be bliss. I was wishing for a moment that I couldn't. I was hoping for deafness to take over me. I felt like flinging myself into the sea. He was chronic. On and on and on and on and on and on and on he went. Oh, the Irish pubs are the best in the world. Shouting at breakfast. I just couldn't believe it. And he looked like he was drunk already. Or probably still from the night before. He was celebrating his new union. I'm not sure she was. She definitely got the short straw. Oh well. But I am mystified about that. Can somebody please explain why? How did this come about? Is it a marketing trick by the brewing conglomerates, by McCaffrey's and Guinness? Is it just a trick on their part to get us to buy more of that sticky goo? Or do we actually? I mean, at no other point in the year do we celebrate Irishness.
At what other point in the year could you celebrate Irishness?
Well, I mean, you could you could show that you're inclined towards them in some way, but we don't, like ever. do we? We don't go on holiday there. We don't think about them. But one day in the year, when we all go out and make fools of ourselves in the middle of the street, and what a day for it they had. Pouring down, freezing cold. There I was behind 3 plates of glass over at the other place playing rock and roll, laughing my face off. Everybody wandering around with a giant foam hat that looked like a pint of Guinness. You silly, silly people.
I was out and about playing golf because it was St. Paddy's Day competition, but I had to give up after 9 holes because I thought I was going to catch pneumonia.
Well, yeah. You're about 30 years too young to be playing golf, aren't you?
No, I'm one of the up-and-coming golfers of this age.
What?
You're a what now?
No, there's a lot more young people playing golf now, but mostly it's because they work in investment banks and they think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm there for the sport, they're there for the networking.
OK, can we just nail that lie right there? It's not a sport. It's a pastime.
Right, well,
if you can play it at the very highest level... Now, I want you to pay attention now. This is the equation that will separate sports from pastimes. You ready? If you can play it at the very highest level while being fat, it's a pastime. And that includes... So that's darts, cricket... anything
What fat cricketers do you know?
Well, I haven't watched cricket in a good long while, but last time I did, they were all porky.
Yeah, that might have been in the 80s.
Right, OK.
2008 now, mate.
Well, it's still the same game, I would suggest.
Yeah, but their levels of fitness are a lot better now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, they still just stand around and take their jumpers off and give the bloke a hat. And what kind of silly game is that, by the way?
You've been watching the umpire.
Well, that's right. Yeah, there's some guy who looks like a scarecrow, and they all give him people wander out after having a cup of tea, and they give a bloke a jumper. I've never seen of such a silly game.
Isn't there a bit where they give oranges as well? It's like they stop for orange segments.
I don't know. They bang some twigs in the ground, and they'll just stand around with their hands on their knees. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's not a game. It's just it's just a way of standing during summer. I mean, they might as well take a deck chair out there for the amount of exercise they're getting. So that's those two. Neither of those are nor golf, cricket, darts, nor anything else that you can play while being fat is a sport.
You can't be that good at golf and be fat.
Yeah, sure you can. All of those golfists are fat.
Yeah, but they're not any good.
Montgomery, whatever his name is, he's fat.
John Daly.
I've no idea who that is. Name the top 5 world golfers. Only one of them's thin. The one who wins everything.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, exactly.
Ernie Els isn't fat.
Ernie Els. Ernie.
Yeah. Ernest.
The thinnest golfer in the West. Ernie.
Phil Mickelson.
What is he, about 105 years old? Phil Mickelson.
Why are the clothes so bad?
Yeah.
Is there a rule?
Well, I can't remember which comic it was. It was probably Chris Rock, somebody like that. He says it's the only time that a white man can dress as a black pimp and get away with it. What do you wear on the golf course there, Raj?
Polo shirt and trousers.
Right, I bet you look... what shade of trouser are they? Pink?
No, they're...
Plaid?
No, they're dark.
Dark,
Black.
right, OK. It's the rule. There's nothing wrong with golf, per se. You know, every now and again you'll hit a shot that you think, wow, that's exactly what I intended to do. It went straight and towards the flag, and it's like, you know, more or less precisely what I intended. Usually it'll skite off at a 90-degree angle to where I was meaning it to go, and end up in the river, which frustrates me more than a little, to the point where I start throwing clubs. At that point, you should leave the course. Which I do on a regular basis. You know, I've had enough. I'm not enjoying this anymore. This has become painful. I must leave.
And you want your mum?
Well, I'm usually playing with my mum. She's saying, no, you don't want to do it like that. You want to do it like this. Which is awful news to hear, because you don't want to hear it, yet you know she's right. But it's the rules that go with golf that drive me insane. All of those petty little rules written by petty little people, and the adherence to which is the most important thing in their lives. Ridiculous rules like you can't hit a golf ball at people walking towards you. What's that about?
That's not a rule. That's just common sense.
Things like you can't be on a golf court with your shirt untucked. I mean, good grief, this is like being in play school. You can't wear shorts unless they're tailored.
What?
Tailored. It's just ludicrous. It's this kind of middle-class, country, uptight, constipated way about it. It's just silly. It's a silly, silly sport. No, it's a reasonable sport because it's an okay way if you have no end of time, because it takes far too long to just waste. It's a walk with a purpose. It's just the silly people that play it that are irritating.
And it takes up so much land as well.
Yeah, well, that's true.
If you see a golf course from the air, then you think, blimey, that could be a nice park.
It could be a chicken run. 8:15. LBC Travel with Steve Reed.
Thank you very much. Now, it looks like the M1 is beginning...
Listen to him. He knows everything.
Talking of sports as we were, the Olympics is coming up in... when is it?
August
2012.
Oh.
Yeah, the Chinese are going to be doing it this year, right? Does that seem hard to believe?
That the Chinese are doing the Olympics, or that it's this year?
Yeah, both. Well, yeah, both. I mean, it's ludicrous to hold the Olympics in Beijing. It's one of the most if not the most polluted city in the whole wide world. I mean, athletes are already saying they're dropping out because they'll die on long-distance events. The insanity of holding it in Beijing just is beyond belief, really. Have they built it yet? I mean, that stadium that they built that looks like a bird's nest, it'll be marvellous when it's finished. At the moment, well, I don't know. But anyway, the Olympic site that's being constructed over here is going to attract, guess what? Have a wild stab in the dark. If you haven't read this story, the imminent arrival of thousands of construction workers for the 2012 Olympics will cause a surge in, guess?
Houses being built.
No.
Eastern European immigrants?
Well, naturally, yes. Prostitution. That's right. The Olympics will cause an increase in prostitution in London. That's what it says here. The Olympic chiefs are being urged to address the impact of predominantly male construction workforce, which is likely to total more than 100,000 over the next 4 years. More than 1,000 people are already working on preparing the site, with a further 2,000 scheduled to begin arriving within weeks as work starts on the stadium. Health organisations are warning that thousands of prostitutes are likely to arrive in the run-up to 2012. They'll be holding their own special Olympics of their own. Horizontal jogging, a speciality. I thought that the Olympics had no place for professionals. They're calling for extra staff in sexual health clinics to address the predicted rise in sexually transmitted infections, and for preventative measures such as sex leaflets in various languages and condom distribution. It's just, I mean, can you imagine such a thing? It's like there's going to be a tsunami wave of prostitutes coming from all corners of the globe to service our Olympic needs.
Maybe they're just here to watch the 100 metres final.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Clinicians assessing the impact of the Sydney 2000 Games found a big increase in demand for sexual health services and a corresponding increase in sexually related diseases, mainly among casual workers, said the Terence Higgins Trust. At least 50% of the labourers are expected to be immigrant. Isn't that shocking? And people in this country are moaning, I can't get work. In fact, there was a map printed in the Sun today of people who are on benefits of 30 grand or so a year, which is more than the yearly average wage. It depends on how you calculate that wage, of course. But if you take out people who earn billions and trillions in the city, I think the average wage in this country is about 22 grand a year, something of that order. There's 20,000 people in this country on 30,000 a year for sitting at home, drinking cans of Stella and watching Trisha all day, making babies. And the Sun helpfully printed a map of where these people live. They actually did that. And guess where they all live? Correct. And the Sun can print this with confidence because it doesn't sell any papers in that town now anyway. They all live in Liverpool. The concentration of people who are on benefits in Liverpool is unbelievable. They've pinpointed on a map of England and Wales where they all live. There's two areas, wards or counties, I suppose, in London. Just the two. We've done very well. And they are Edmonton Green, Enfield, and Limehouse, Tower Hamlets. So just two here. There's one which looks like it's in Essex, Golf Green, in Tendring, in Essex. And that pretty much constitutes the entirety of the southeast of England. Haven't we done well? Everyone else, bar one, which looks like it's down in Devon, Gateshead, Bede. Not Gateshead. No, wait a minute. 46. Bede. Gateshead, yeah. Bede. Anyway, it's like Cornwall, perhaps. Wales, Liverpool, Manchester. They're all in Wales and Liverpool and Manchester. Liverpool has, I would say, just a rough guess, a third of the people on benefits in this country live in Liverpool, according to this map right here. Either that or the Sun is making this up just to get back at the people of Liverpool who, despite their best efforts, will not buy their paper. Still to this day, refusing it. And you'd have to think, well, just get on the train. If we have to import people from Poland to do jobs down here, wouldn't it be an easier trip for people from Liverpool to come down here? Or Manchester, which is second worst. Birmingham and Newcastle seem to be a tie. And they're all saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but their complaint is, or their excuse is, or whatever you want to call it, that there are no jobs. Well, there are. People are leaving other countries to come here. There's so many jobs. It seems that, though, we've got a vacancy or a help wanted sign in flashing neon above the country, but nobody who's living here can see it. Maybe that's because they put it directly up. If they put it on the horizon a little bit, you see, if you were standing in Poland and you were looking at the horizon of this country, you could see the sign perfectly clearly. If you're standing directly underneath the sign, well, perhaps that's why they can't see it. Or something. There's something definitely gone wrong. And I suspect that it's because, by doing nothing at all, you can earn £30,000 a year. Blimey, I'd like to earn £30,000 a year for doing nothing at all. It wouldn't be too great a stretch from doing this, which is essentially just flapping my gums. But, I don't know, there's just, there seems to be, like a major problem here, and somebody needs to get a hold of it. And I don't think that anybody in the current administration seems to have a chance of doing that. Because you would imagine that it's their fault. The love of big government. Neither, by the way, does anybody else seem to have a clue as to what to do. I mean, they say, oh, well, you vote for us and we'll fix this problem. And, well, if you were going to do that, you would have done it when you were in last time. And it doesn't seem to me that there was, at any point in which we weren't hooked on benefits. In fact, that could be like a chart CD. For the unemployed, hooked on benefits. You could put it in the racks right by the now that's what I call music compilations. We'll make a list of the songs that we should include on that, hooked on benefits, like busy doing nothing the whole day long. There's one, I'll start you off. Something has to be done, am I right? If people would prefer to do nothing in this country, to the point that the work that needs to be done needs to be farmed out to people who barely speak the language. Isn't that incredible? I mean, if you had just dropped in from space and saw this, you would be bemused at the nature of the human race. You'd be stunned. We are some weird beards in this country. Am I right? Oh, calm me down. Hey, you know it's going to get much, much colder shortly? We have got a cold snap coming in that is going to cause brass monkeys the whole country over deep concern. You think it's a little bit rough now, but come... And of course, guess when it's going to be arriving?
Summertime.
No. Easter weekend. Doesn't it always? During the course of Easter weekend, it's going to be cold. And by cold, I mean -8 centigrade, which is very, very cold indeed. An Arctic blast is threatening heavy snow. Emergency services and transport chiefs are on alert. Oh, yeah, right. You could send them a note from now until then. You could write it on the inside of their eyelids, and they still won't do anything. It'll still take them by surprise, as it does every time it happens. Snow. So this is what we can expect: chaos, and I'll do the. I'll give you the full nightmare rundown as I come back after the new news. It is a phone-in, by the way. 0845 6060 973. So far, a monologue, a whole hour's worth.
This is
LBC 97.3. The time 8:30.
There are the studio calls flashing up on the indicator.
Chigwell, hello, Eduardo.
Buongiorno. Hey. You've been like a little ray of sunshine this evening.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
You've actually brought some joy into my life with your prediction of the hundreds of millions of Eastern European migrant workers coming into this country.
Yeah.
I mean, considering that my office is that close to the new Olympic Stadium in Stratford, and we've all been sitting around for the last 8 months playing solitaire, talking about recession, this is the one good bit of news I've had the last 8 months.
Guess you'll have...
I sold a house.
You'll have hot and cold running hookers before you know it.
Well, be there.
What?
I mean, you know, that part of London is chock full of Eastern European hookers. Right. You can't move for Eastern European gangbangers and hookers all over the shop.
Oh.
I mean, it's like Krakow down there. You get anything you want if you're that way inclined. But I'm more interested in the fact that it will bring a little bit of sparkle back into our depressed housing market. People of London, sell.
People of London, sell.
Do something, because it's just tiresome. It's really bad news out there.
What are you talking about, Eduardo?
Houses. Sell your house.
Yeah. Why?
So I can have some money to go on a holiday this year.
You're an estate agent?
Yes.
Right, that was vital information that we needed to make sense of what it is you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. My fault.
So,
I'm being so big-headed.
So how does it look out there?
Oh, it's gloomy, terrible.
Really?
Awful. But, you know, we're going to have all these Eastern Europes in, which will be great, because it will just, people will want to rent stuff, and we won't be, you know, picking them, we won't be having a $1.99 chicken burger for lunch. We'll be buying the Marks and Spencer sandwiches instead.
This is why people like estate agents, because they're just so nice and warm and loving and giving.
I'm fuzzy, man, you know? Invite me into your home and I'm your best friend.
Right, absolutely not. I don't think I'll be doing that anytime soon. But thanks anyway, Eduardo. Okay, good luck out there. It's going to be difficult for the foreseeable future. It's going to be, well, it's quite possibly going to be hell. Because the people at the top end, they thought that they were immune. But now, of course, if actual banks are falling over, and the thousands of people in the city who previously thought that they were, untouchable, if they're going to lose their jobs, and America is going to start withdrawing its claws and bringing its people back, then the top end of the market is going to start to nosedive. Not the top end. Not the people who are spending, 50, 100 million pounds. Those people will never get affected. The middle rich, the sort of 5 to 10 million pound people, they're not going to start buying anymore. Which means that the 1, 2 and 3 million people, they're not going to be able to trade up or sell. which means that the 750 to 1 million people, that whole strata is going to be stuck, which means the £500,000 strata, there won't be any buyers there, which means the entire market is in the toilet. You'd have to be off your chump if you wanted to buy a property right now, or you could actually, it could possibly be the best time to buy for a very long time, because you could drive a hard bargain. So I think I just gave two completely contradictory assessments of the position. And as I've said before, no one should listen to me. I've got no idea what I'm talking about. Ladbroke Grove. Hello, Pat.
Hi.
Pat.
Just getting back to the point where you were saying about the immigrants coming over to work, or coming down to London.
Yeah.
To work in London, but people from Liverpool won't come to here.
Yeah. Not technically immigrants, but...
Well, you know. But it's about £6 an hour. Would you work for that?
What's about £6 an hour?
For the Polish workers and EU workers to come and work on building sites and stuff like that, they're paying £6 an hour.
Yeah, I have worked for that. I've worked for less than that.
Well, would you go far for that? Would you travel for that? And set up home in London to do that? You couldn't afford to do it.
Well, it depends. I mean, if the state makes your life so comfortable that you can't be bothered to go out and work anymore, then there's something gone wrong.
Well, it's hard to say comfortable. I mean...
Well, I know £30,000 a year is quite comfortable. I mean, the price of a property in Liverpool can't be that much.
Slight exaggeration, I'd say, £30,000 a year.
Well, it isn't. It's written right here in the newspaper, £30,000 a year. That's what they say. 20,000 people in this country get 30 grand or more a year.
That's quite a small amount then, really. Not everyone.
Well, I didn't say everyone. 20,000 people, that's quite a lot.
Spread across the country, that's not money.
It's a huge amount.
Desperate. I mean, families, big families, payments to be made, mortgage payments to be made. You add it all up, but they go to the top end and say they're going to get 30 grand a year for signing on, claiming benefits. Highly unlikely for someone, just a single person working, not working, getting benefits, barely enough to live on with the way things are going now.
I don't know what argument you're making here, Pat.
Well, the argument you're saying that people should come from all over the country to come and work and do the work, otherwise you've got to get outsiders in to do it for us.
Well, there's no...
I mean,
there's construction going on in Liverpool, just as there is here. You don't have to leave Liverpool to find a job.
But it's not as good as everyone thinks. I'm a bricklayer for 31 years. It's taken me 3 weeks in London to find a job. 3 weeks. You're trawling the net, papers. There might be 2 in the local evening paper. Everyone's going for it. Agencies, you're finding agencies up. There's 20, 30 bricklayers chasing one job. There's not that much out there as everyone thinks there is.
So, right. So the construction industry, of course, with a few exceptions, the Olympic Village being one of them, is having a bit of a hard time at the moment, just as the railway industry.
So when the Olympics kick off, and it's going to get good, but they never do. Big jobs like St Pancras, the big subcontractors get in there, and they call the shots, keep the money down. Getting the same when I was getting 10 years ago.
Right, well, welcome to the world, Pat. I mean, it's hard all over, you know.
Well, it wasn't. It is now. It's getting harder.
Well, this show's just come to a giant halt. Anyway, the best of luck with your search there, Pat. OK, cheers, mate. Wish I hadn't started this now. Let's talk about something else. How about balloons? Let's talk about balloons. Or anything. Cricklewood. Hello, Eric.
Hello, how are you, sir?
Eric, I'm all right, thanks.
Yeah, it's good. You're talking about the Portugal issue being with the job signs and coming up and coming over to this country, yeah?
Yes.
Basically, they're willing to work for £6 an hour.
Yeah, I heard.
Live 14 people to a house, 3 to a room, and you brought in the prostitution is. I had a successful business, and 6 years ago, Bush came in and they undercut me and put me straight out of work. What can you do? Now, the people from Liverpool are on £30,000 a year, and basically, they can go work for £6 an hour, which is £240 a week, which works on about 16 grand, right? So what would you rather be on? £30,000 a year, your house paid for, and everything correct? Or work for £6 an hour and struggle? Answer me that, please.
Right, well, OK. Well, the answer is not to not to maintain the status quo. The answer is to change the benefits system, surely.
No, it's not the benefits system, because they have a certain lifestyle where they have to have their family in their house, basically. They have to support their bills, put their kids in school, buy their uniforms. These people are coming over, undercutting the traditional worker, as I could say. I don't want to be racist or I don't want to be mixed up, but they're undercutting the traditional worker, and they're bringing the wages down where they can't afford to work.
Yeah, well, it's not their fault that they're bringing the wages down. It's the fault of the British companies that are employing them that are seeing the opportunity to pay them less.
Oh, of course, that's the whole reason behind it, because the profit line, if you're a QS, which is a quantity surveyor, right, the bottom line stays the same. The quantity surveyor, for every action you do, you get paid so much money. So the people at the top who have the business are basically collecting the money and paying less for it and bringing their profits up. Now, is that correct, or is it the standard of living that we're questioning?
I got kind of lost in the middle there, and I thought, blimey, I slipped mentally away for a second, and I thought, I'll never catch up now. I'll just continue riding it until you stop speaking.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, Eric. I just don't want to talk about immigrants and low wages anymore.
Yeah,
but
and you brought it up.
I suppose I did. Yeah, it was all my fault. Anyway, thanks a lot, mate. Cheers. 0845 6060 973. What do you reckon, Raj? It was better when I was taking no calls, wasn't it? It was burbling along. It was all quite jolly. Amusing it was. I wish I was at home listening to it myself.
Take Stuart, that'll cheer you up.
And then, I bet he won't, and then I start taking calls and we're just plunged into the depths of despair, almost instantly. So that'll be the new format for this show. It'll be a monologue for 2.5 hours every day. Just me going, bouncing from one subject to the next like a pinball. Are you sure Stuart's going to cheer me up? Or were you joking? Was that ironic? Or I'll take him. It's like Russian roulette, this. Barnett. Hello, Stuart.
Hello. I'm loving this economic climate at the moment. It's all doom and gloom. And I've suddenly had this epiphany. I actually enjoy being miserable and phoning up radio stations and moaning about how bad everything is.
Yeah.
And it's given me some kind of perverse pleasure of being so low. I think the English are so good at scraping around going, it's all going to hell in a handcart.
Yes.
I'm as happy as I've ever been, living in misery.
Well, you're never happier than when we're really, really miserable. I mean, melancholia is one of my favourite moods. Yeah.
I'm so down, I'm staring up at the stars and I'm smiling about it.
Well, that's right. If you are in the gutter, then you can see the stars. Yeah.
It's glorious. I'm loving it, honestly. I think I must have spoken to just about every presenter on LBC, and it's never a positive.
I'll try and winkle a positive out of it somewhere.
I can put you on my list now. I think all I've got to do is stay up till 5 in the morning. I'll get the full house. It's like a game of poker to me now.
Yeah, there you go. You've done us all, Stuart.
Say again.
I said we've all succumbed.
Yes, I'm pacing up outside down. I've been thrown out of my house because I was just about to wake my baby. That's how miserable my life is.
But you're still laughing, no way. Thanks a lot, Stuart.
Thanks very much.
0845 6060 973. Picked us up just a little. At least he was laughing.
And you got to have a laugh, don't you?
Well, you do got to have a laugh, yeah. 8:45. LBC Travel with Steve Reed.
Thank you, Nick. Let's have a quick glance around.
Okie dokie.
We're giving away, well, not giving away exactly, but we are auctioning a 42-inch Samsung Plasma TV, which is HD ready. It's got the Freeview in it. Its cutting-edge plasma TV has all the latest technology. It puts it one step ahead of other sets on the market. A top-notch visual experience, even when it's switched off. It's a reverse auction. The person with the lowest unique bid wins. That's the lowest bid in pence that no one else makes. Recently, somebody won one for 134p, considerably less than the retail price. If you would like to enter, text LBC plus your bid in pence to 88821. If it was a 65p bid, it would be LBC 652 88821. Bids cost £1.50 plus your standard network rate. Lines close 7 p.m. tomorrow. Bidders must be over 16. See lbc.co.uk for full terms and conditions. Beckenham. Oh, Jim.
Hi, good evening, Nick.
Jim.
I thought I'd better give you a call and cheer you up a little bit because things are getting a little bit down.
I know,
Eastern European stories.
Exactly.
So I've got a funny
story
involving an Eastern European. I was playing golf with a friend of mine. He's from Montenegro, and he's hit his golf ball into a bunker. As we're walking towards the bunker, a big crow come down, picked his golf ball up, and dropped it outside the bunker. In fact, he dropped it in such a place he was able to get a good shot. I was absolutely gutted, but I found it quite amusing.
I don't believe you, Jim.
I know, it's true. It's absolutely true.
A crow?
A crow, yeah. Picked his golf ball up. Out of the bunker.
And dropped it on the fairway?
No, not in the fairway. Dropped it just at the top, as on the top of the bunker.
Oh, the lip.
On the lip, yeah.
Which is can be a very handy place to be.
Well...
Gives you a bit of height.
It was unbelievable. I thought, God, blimey.
So does that count as a shot?
No, it didn't drop a shot. It's where the ball... I've had the same thing, not with a bird, I've had it with a dog. I hit a ball, bad shot, off the tee, into the woods.
The dog swallowed the ball, then you were following it for days.
No, a dog picked the ball up. The dog's name was Brun, by the way. I found that out.
It was what?
The dog's name was Brun. Some man was walking his dog. The dog picked the ball up, walked out onto the fairway. The man was straddling the dog. I'm trying to force the ball out of his mouth. My mate was having, a different friend, having hysterics. When the dog finally dropped the ball on the fairway, I think I actually parred the hole. I can't remember, but I won the hole. And so these things happen.
I suppose so. All right.
100% true.
Thanks very much, Jim. Those 19th hole stories. In fact, that's my favourite hole, the 19th hole. That means that it's over. Oh. Thank goodness it's over. So, what started you playing golf? Are you aware that golf takes up an unnecessarily large part of this green and pleasant land?
Yeah, but it's just like having a play in a big, well-manicured garden, as opposed to the rubbish gardens you usually get out in suburbia, which has a train line running through the back.
Right. And never mind about the poor people who are living in tents on, on slag heaps. You are quite comfortable parading in your tartan trousers, just tucked into your socks, no doubt. On your
no one
golf
really wears
there.
+4s anymore.
Right.
I don't know what image of golf you've got. When was the last time you watched sport on TV? 1980.
Well, sport. See, now, I think I've already explained that golf isn't a sport, it's just a pastime. But golf on TV, I think golf on TV comes into the same sort of bracket as snooker. It's just, nothing really ever happens. It's just green, so it's calming. They might as well just put the colour green up, and it would probably get the same viewing figures. People just like to watch it because it's peaceful, easy on the eye. That's why blackboards used to be green. Did you know that? The stuff you learn on this show, it's like an education, ain't it?
No.
Bermondsey, Peter.
Yes, good evening, Nick.
Hello, Peter.
Wasn't it wild you said that golf is a good walk spoilt?
Spoilt.
But, yeah, going back to what you were saying, I think with these prostitutes...
Or ruined, perhaps.
Yes, or ruined. Ah, that's right. That was it, wasn't it? It was a good walk ruined. Yeah, I mean, I think really they go where the work is, obviously. I have a brother who lives out in Tenerife, and a number of years back he went to like a big shooting fest in Seville. It was some big international thing, and the local Spanish said to him that all the tea leaves from all over Europe descend on Seville, because that's where the work is. And there are parts in Paris where it is an actual trade, where they dip your pocket, and because my wife got dipped and people on the trip did. But I think this is the problem. One has to accept that these are trades. You get all the women's libs come up that man is using woman and all that, not accepting the fact that women look on this as a trade. I mean, there's a woman called Harriet Harman. Have you heard of her?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, last year I heard on the radio. Bearing in mind, I know you don't like to get heavy, Nick, with politics and all that, but I heard this woman say that 80% of all prostitutes working here in England come from abroad. Now, if you've got a government policy that has an open door policy, then it's stating the bleeding obvious, isn't it, that you're going to get them over here. And I think this is the major problem. You won't stop the trade if you're not going to control them. And you know where you were saying about Liverpool? about they won't buy the sun, I'm afraid there is, the old saying comes on, the truth does hurt. And I remember we had it down the den. You know, we got a phrase, nobody likes us, we don't care. But on a rare occasion we played Liverpool, the wrong part of the Liverpudlian supporter would charge the gate so that they could get in for nothing. And I think this was the essence of what the Sun was implying with Sheffield. It was those sort that really caused the problem.
And those sort aren't restricted to Liverpool, of course.
No, I accept that, but as you know, Nick, for some reason or other, the Liverpudlians, they can't do no wrong. I've got a pal who was in the London docks, and when the docks was running here in London, he said the Liverpudlian dockers were the first out and the last ones in. Okay? So, and there's a man called Tom O'Connor, a very, very funny comic, and his whole act was around the thieving that went through the Liverpool docks.
Well, as was, who's the chap who used to dress up as a woman and is now a talk show host?
Oh,
Lily Savage.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah,
his whole stand-up act used to be about going on the nick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and they say, you know, if you see a cat in certain parts of Liverpool and it's got a tail, it's a tourist. All these sort of things. Now, you know, I mean, so really, tragically, you know, as you were saying about where all these areas, they're all up north, and I think David Cameron, I think the Conservatives should just pack it in. I mean, to want to take over the debts that we're running in at the moment, I mean, they must took leave of their senses. Because
well, it does seem to be a poor time to want to take over the finances of the country.
Yeah, because logic prevails, Nick. All the heartland of the Labour vote is up north, isn't it? I mean, sort of, in a sense, north of Watford. So now, how are you going to, in all logic, how are you going to get these people into work? Because I recall 20-odd years ago, I was listening to Any Questions, and there was I think it was when the Labour Party were in, and there was somebody up there saying that there's no money goes to Liverpool and all these jobs, you know, have gone down the Carsey, and he turned around and said that the hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds have gone to Liverpool, like supporting the car industry and all that. He said, and it's the people of Liverpool. It's their problem. You can't keep throwing money at these situations. And
well, is Liverpool so unutterably lovely that they can't conceive of moving somewhere where there is jobs?
Exactly.
I doubt it.
I think that's what Tebbit meant when he was castigated for saying getting on your bike. I mean, the old point is there is work in certain areas. It's all service industry now, Nick, in our country, isn't it? If you look at it logically, we don't really produce anything per se. It's all in the Far East. So we've got to accept the fact that it's a service industry and what we've got to do with it. But when you get a situation where these people are paid not to go to work, then they're going to do it, because we are by now...
Well, America had more or less the same problem, and they solved it in some states. I'm not sure how far and wide this went, but they solved it by basically turning off the tap of money. They said that you will only get, I can't remember exactly what it was, how long it was, so I'll just make it up. 9 months of benefits, and then that's it. And then you have to actually go out and find a job, or, well, not eat.
Well, I can give you...
And come to find out that they all went out and found a job.
Yeah, I can give you a correlation here, Nick. We were down at a place called Riccione in Italy, and we went on a boat trip to take us down to Cattolica, and we had a young lad on there, and he was a communist, yeah, and his English was really good, and we were talking, and he said there was a Scotsman and an Irishman on here saying that England's no good, right? Now, these were his words. I've got a wife can verify this. So anyway, in the course of the conversation, he said England's very poor. I said, no, it's not really poor. I said, it's got a few bob. So he said, here in Italy, you know, this was the late 80s, and he said, here in Italy, if a woman has a child out of wedlock and it's a girl, she don't get no assistance. If it's a boy, she gets 100,000 lira a year. So I said, well, back in England, they get 100,000 lira a week. And he went...
I've just come from a country where to be poor is means something entirely different.
Absolutely.
To what it means in this country.
Yeah.
To be poor in this country means that
You can't have a television or...
Well, no, I don't think it even means that. I think most households have got TVs and enough to put beer in the fridge.
Yeah.
In Thailand, for instance, I don't want to go on about Thailand much at all, but to be poor in Thailand means that you live in what is essentially a metal tent, a lean-to, corrugated shed with no kitchen or bathroom or anything. Now, that is actually poor. But anyway, I don't want to talk about this. LBC.
Well, let's get back to it.
Here's the weather story, by the way, and there was only one newspaper that had this, and they stuck it right in their front page. This was the Express, who willfully go their own way, like Fleetwood Mac. Britain last night was warned to prepare for Easter chaos as an Arctic blast threatened heavy snow. Last night, was it? Have you heard about this?
What, the Arctic blast was last night, was it?
No, the warning.
No, I missed it.
How come that the Express is the only paper that has this important news? Emergency services and transport chiefs are on alert for travel mayhem over bank holiday weekend. It's always either chaos or mayhem. Motorists are told to expect treacherous roads as temperatures plunge to -8 centigrade. I don't know about you, but I thought that we were on a steady... I always do, this time every year. You get a little bit of sunshine, the sun is higher in the sky, and in a couple of... I think it's not this week, but the week after, the clocks go forward. Ooh. And that spells happiness, because it'll be lighter later. So it gets dark about, 6, 7? No, wait. I'm sitting in my car and it's getting dark. It's about 6 o'clock. It starts to get a bit darkish. Too dark to read outside. About 6-ish, something like that, right? So that means that in a couple of weeks' time it'll be sort of getting on for maybe 6:15, and then the clocks go forward. It'll be 7:15 at night. It gets dark. How super fantastic! So winter just went like that. Didn't really experience any of it. And you think that because you can see the little buds in the trees, the little sticky buds, and the Tweety birds flying around outside, and you think, oh, we're on a soft slope to spring now. But oh no. Nature always has something in reserve to slap us in the face, and here it comes. Easter weekend. Why is it always Easter weekend? Bank holiday weekends are always rubbish. It's as though it's some giant celestial joke. Rail bosses added to the predicted misery by preparing to close a large part of the train network for engineering work. Can you believe that? Yes, Oh, Alex, lovely cup of tea. Lovely. Thanks very much. It's a little taste here. Disgusting. It's just shocking. It really is. I mean, good grief. It's a simple task. It tastes like you made it with fish.
I did. I thought you asked for fish.
Tens of thousands of passengers are likely to be hit by disruption to both West and East Coast mainlands, wrecking Easter holiday plans for thousands of families. Isn't that great? Snow showers and freezing winds will spell misery on the roads, with chronic traffic jams expected for millions over the 4-day holiday period. The Siberian cold snap is due to hit the country on Thursday, and is expected to keep the nation shivering until Sunday. Snowfalls are likely to blanket many areas of the country, with temperatures over the bank holiday break due to drop as low as -8 centigrade. Centigrade and Celsius are the same thing, right? Is that true? Maybe I've made a giant Burke of myself, but, I don't know. Inquiring minds are keen to find out. Meteorologist Jonathan said, snow will be very much in evidence. Even at low levels, temperatures will prove to be bitterly cold, with daytime values struggling nationwide. The cold snap's been brought in by Arctic winds, sucked down towards the UK by areas of low pressure on the east coast and high pressure over the Atlantic. Met Office spokesman said, we're expecting some pretty cold weather associated with northerly winds. Most of the snow will be on high ground, but we can't rule out falls on low ground too. The great bank holiday getaway expected to start on Thursday, with most travellers hitting the roads. And then it goes on to tell you that, really, in essence, it's going to be such a disaster for travel out there that you should just stay at home. Isn't that right, Tallulah?
No, it's not right, I tell you. Why not? Because it's not going to happen.
Really?
It's all just a joke, just as well as the storms. Because everybody kept telling me at the weekend, oh, you had storms in England. And I kept thinking, have I been sedated or what? And no,
maybe both.
Well, I know now, because I've been thinking really hard, that it never took place, that certain Monday. And I was in Germany over the weekend, and everybody kept telling me about the storms. And I said, huh? So...
I know. Even while the storm was happening, it didn't seem like anything was particularly happening.
Two blows of heavy wind, that was it.
Yeah.
2 puffs of Mr. Wind up there saying, poof, poof, and that was it.
Yes, it was on a scale of storms. It was a fairly weak affair, yeah. But then, we don't really get dramatic weather in this country. So what little weather we do get, we like to big up, as the young folks say these days. Well, exactly. That gave Raj a little smile. There you are. I'm down with the kids.
And you know what? Rock and roll. It's not going to happen. Yeah.
I bet it will happen. Of course it will. It's Easter weekend. It's bound to be really miserable.
That is a complete different story, but I tell you, not -8. No way, Jose. But can I ask you for something?
Go on.
Can I have the exclusive right, when we finish our conversation, that you do not call me dear? Please?
You don't want me to call you dear?
Oh, please, yes.
All right, okay, I won't. Why, do I do that a lot?
You do this all the time, and you know what?
So annoying.
I hate it. I hate it.
Okay.
Just comes after Christmas.
I'll make a special effort for you.
Okay, from now on, if I talk to you, I say, hello, you, and then I say, dear, just to remind you.
Right.
Anyway.
You don't have to remind me from now on, Tallulah. I've got it.
Won't.
I promise. I absolutely promise. Trust me.
Okay. But did you hear that? It's very funny, because your newsreader, when she was doing the news, she just gave Bob Marley a new backing band.
What did she say?
Which is the original combination.
Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Ah, good. You know your business, because you...
Well, anybody knows that. Even my dad would know that.
Okay, what she says was very funny, because she says Bob Marley and the Sex Pistols.
They would sit ill together on the same stage, wouldn't they?
That would create a new style, which would... Yeah.
Actually, there's something, there's potential in that. I mean, people are forever searching around for a new style of music. It seems that everything's been done under the sun, like Pink Floyd said.
Groovy.
But a cross of reggae and punk, well, I think that might have something going for it.
Exactly, that's what was my first idea when I heard this. I thought, wow, there's something in there.
Yeah. Don't delay, Tallulah. Get on that train today.
Oh, well, apropos train. My observation about the Polish worker was, it struck me actually, when I was on an early tube to Heathrow, and I nearly lost my conscience. No? What's it called when you lose it? I nearly lost my belly. Basically, I nearly lost come on, help me, Nick, please.
I don't know what you're trying to say. What are you trying to say?
When you faint.
Consciousness?
Yes.
Consciousness.
Because the whole train around Acton was just full of those workers you were describing earlier on their mobile phone getting instructions from their boss.
Right.
Are they here legally, or how do they get here?
I don't know, mate. Are you here legally?
I am, because I go backwards and forwards, and they recognize me as being legal.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe not in your world, I might not be legal.
Yeah, or they see you with a budgie and a plastic bag on your back, and they think, oh, can't be bothered, just wave her through.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so it must be right, because I don't read the papers or don't read watch
well, there's
television.
nothing ever good in them. No, you're quite right.
But just to see it for myself, I don't really mind, because they seem to do a good job. Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems without them, this country would fall flat in its face.
Well, and that is exactly where I'm coming next, is they seem to have discovered a hole, or what you call it, a niche in the market, and went for it.
Yeah, the niche in the market is people who want to work hard.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, slight gap in the market there. They thought, all right, well, we'll fill that because the locals don't seem to be too bothered.
Yeah. Like you.
I mean, look at me. Look at me, for instance. I'm slaving away for a full 2.5 hours every day.
Yeah, I know.
And do I complain?
No.
No.
Or do you?
No. I'm not one to complain, no.
Because you know what? People on the radio, they don't want to hear nag, nag, nag.
No.
Exactly. That's how you keep your job, not nagging.
Yeah. Anyway, Tallulah, I must go, but thanks a lot. All right. Cheers, my dear. Oops. 9:15. LBC Travel with Steve Reed.
Thanks, Nick. In Tooting, Fountain Road, still...
Yowza.
Here is... Catford. Hello, Trixie.
Hi there.
Trixie.
Hi. Oh, it was nice to hear Tallulah. I agree about the dear word.
Right.
I don't want that either.
Radio, dear.
No. I knew you'd do that. Nor do I want the nice lady one.
You'll never get that, don't worry.
No. Well, I have once, but I deserved it. Hello. Well, I'm not going to go blathering on about change of light and everything, but I'm so fed up to the back teeth that the clocks have to be changed yet again. What is the point, Nick?
No, it's great that they're going forward.
Well, does it really make a difference?
Yeah, huge.
Well, it makes a difference in a way to me, because my cat will just wake me up at something like 5 o'clock in the morning.
I don't care about that.
No, you wouldn't care about that, would you?
It makes everybody happier when it's lighter later. I just wish they'd leave it.
I'm being woken up by my cat at 5 o'clock in the morning when I want to have a sleep.
Well, just leave the door shut. It would make all of us healthy, wealthier and wiser if they'd put the clocks forward and left them there.
Ah, now that I can agree with.
Yeah.
Left them there.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. And then in the depths of winter, it wouldn't get dark at 4:30. No. At the earliest, it would be 5:30.
So when they go forward, are they going to be at Greenwich Mean Time again?
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Yes, exactly.
British Summertime. No, Greenwich Mean Time must be what we're on now, because there's British Summertime and Greenwich Mean Time, isn't there? So we're on GMT now, I think.
Yes. Do you remember they did an experiment? I think it was in the early 70s, and they kept us on Greenwich Mean Time for a couple of years.
Well, no, I don't remember that. I mean, I was alive when it happened, but I don't. I must have been too young to really be paying attention.
Same age, my dear.
Yeah. Well, when was it?
Oh,
must have been early 70s.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I remember going to school in the dark.
Well, I always used to do that. I went to school in Edinburgh for the latter part of my schooling.
Well, you probably went.
It was perpetually dark.
Yeah, well, yes, of course, because you're further up north. Absolutely, I understand that. Yes, same as in same latitude as the southern Finland, of course. But it was down in the south of the country, or the west, actually, in Wales. It was actually quite good. I enjoyed it. I didn't mind. And let's face it, the cows didn't know any difference.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah, they don't wear watches.
Precisely. This is what I cannot understand. I mean, the farmers wear watches. I don't understand why the dark has to affect why it has to affect them, or is it the fact that the cows don't wake up until it's light? If you see what I mean.
No, you've totally lost me.
Now, well, perhaps animals respond. They start waking up when it's light.
Regardless of what time, what arbitrary time we put on it. Yeah,
yes, but my cat says it all, really, doesn't she? If you change the time,
it doesn't know the time's changed.
Well, the thing is that the cows are awake earlier and they expect to be milked earlier, don't they? I don't know. I don't know how it works.
No.
No, don't worry. I've confused.
I thought I did.
Well, there you are. I think I've confused you even more.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
However, you would not like to be a surgeon. How would you like to be a surgeon using a DIY tool to remove a brain tumor in the Ukraine?
Well,
would you like to be the patient?
Well, that's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. Never mind about the surgeon. What about the patient? Yeah.
The patient survived. But the patient had to be awake.
Well, apparently they're doing a very good job, and they're doing brain surgery on patients while they're awake, because I think they have a shortage of anaesthetists in where is it?
It's in the Ukraine.
Right.
And it's a £30 DIY.
Yeah, some nice doctors from here are going over there to do a lot of free surgery on people who really need it. With what they would use here is something like a £30,000 high-tech tool, but in order to get around the fact that they haven't got any money, they take a Black & Decker drill with them.
But you see, what I don't understand is how come we're getting all the foreign doctors, and all our doctors are going over there? That's another thought to ponder. I mean, it is quite difficult to find a doctor sometimes that sort of speaks the same language almost.
When I had my near-death experience recently, it's certainly hard to find a nurse that speaks that comes from this country. In fact, I don't. Yes. I saw a lot of them, maybe because I was in hospital for about 2-3 days, something like that, and I must have seen a dozen nurses. Yes. Not one single one was English, which is a bizarre state of affairs, really, isn't it? I mean, I just can't really get my head around that.
Near-death experience.
What?
On my near-death experience. All the nurses came from different parts of the African continent.
Yeah.
So none of them spoke the same language. They all communicated in English, and it was a bit strange and a bit scary, I have to say.
Well, there is an element of concern when they're communicating important details about about treatment that could enable you to live or die in a language that they're not fully grasping.
No.
Yeah.
And I was very scared actually that I would offend them, and that is. And I said, I'm terribly sorry. Please.
Never offend your medical professional. No.
No. Anyway, that was an interesting bit of. I just thought I would witter that out over the phone to you. I've got bluebells growing at the bottom of my garden.
Oh yeah, they're all coming out.
Yeah, they are. They will. The flowers haven't come out yet, but they will. They will do, unless the snow gets them first.
Well, they all. Yes, nature is. It's as though that the change has happened too fast for nature to really figure it out yet, because it pops its head out. Just a little too early, and then is clobbered, as it is about to be over this forthcoming Easter weekend, apparently.
It's in the bud, so to speak.
Exactly right, yeah.
I can't bear Easter weekend. It's like a wasteland. You can never find a shop that's open.
I know. And working in radio, of course, Easter weekend means nothing to us. We don't get full 4 days off. We just continue to work as usual. Yep. With, a traffic transport system that's totally screwed up, completely closed. All the shops are shut. That's right. There's nothing to do. It's boring. But you know me. I don't like to complain.
No, you don't. Neither do I. I like driving around the Catford area when it's holiday time, because people do leave.
Catford area.
So you can drive
You like driving around the Catford area?
Oh yeah,
no end of sights to see. It's beautiful. All right, well, enjoy it with my compliments, Sir Trixie. Cheers, my dear. Oops.
Take care.
0845 6060 973. I suppose I do say that a bit. Here's Croydon. Hello, Lisa.
Oh, hello.
Lisa.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
I thought I'd call because you make me laugh.
Well, you've got to have a laugh, ain't you?
Yeah, the other people would be very depressing, and you were making me laugh, so...
Well, I was burbling along. I was, in my own little happy land, and then I started taking calls, and God, it was so depressing.
I know. Silly news. I'm trying to find out about the summertime.
Yeah.
You know when they change the times?
When the living is easy, yes.
Yeah, summertime, yes. What other countries do that? Does America do that?
America does it. I think almost the entirety of Europe does it. A lot of people engage in this silly practice, and I wish we'd stop doing it. Apparently, in this country, whenever anybody asks why, it always comes down to because Scottish children must go to school when it's light. Well...
Yeah, but the thing is, what about the war? I heard it's the war, then I heard it's for animals.
Well, it can't possibly be for animals, because they don't know what time it is. But the sun just comes up at the same time for them.
Then I heard it was for farmers.
Well,
what is the correct answer? If someone had to...
Well, I don't really understand what the difference is for farmers either, because they have to get up when the sun comes up. You know, when the cows start a-mooing, then they have to start a-squeezing. Or whatever it is that they do. So I don't think that the time makes any difference to farmers. They've got to still get up whatever the time is and just, go to bed accordingly. I think that the argument, or they always trot out, is that Scottish children don't like going to school in the dark. And I went to school. I went to school in Scotland, and I seem to remember always going to school in the dark.
Well, why don't they just switch the light on?
Give them a torch. Yeah, you're right.
Send them on their way. What do people in Scandinavia do? It's dark there all the time.
Just give them a packet of matches and tell them to strike one every now and again.
Yes, that's true. Or they can stay at home.
Yeah, quite right too. Yeah, they should stay at home. They won't learn anything at school anyway.
No, I mean they can be taught at home, can't they?
Yeah.
Interactive over the web.
Yeah, or just switch the telly on. You learn no end of stuff on TV.
I wanted to talk quickly about the benefit, but you don't want to talk about that, do you?
No. Oh, that shut her up.
No.
I don't want to talk about benefits anymore, Lisa.
No, the positive thing, people should pay it back when they start working.
Oh, well, yeah, but the problem is they don't start work. They're just on benefits forever. There's many families, and I don't know how many, so I'll make it up. 32,000 families in this country who have 2 generations of parents who have never worked.
That's really
Can you believe
bizarre.
that?
That's bizarre.
Shocking, yeah.
Yeah, but then I don't want to say any more about that.
Some of them are in show business.
Are they? Oh, that's shocking.
Anyway, Lisa, I'll leave you shocked and stunned. Your mouth agape. Cheers, my dear.
Agape.
There, I've said it again. This is LBC 97.3.
Everything is going extremely well.
So the McCartney circus continues, and we just cannot get enough of it. Or we can't get enough of Heather, specifically. Paul plays a straight bat. Is that correct? Did I get that analogy right? A straight bat? I've got no idea what I'm talking about. When I stray into cricket, it's all Greek to me. No idea. Googlies, and it sounds disgusting, frankly. Repellent. Are you a cricketist?
Do you mean a cricketer?
Yeah.
No, I've not played I had to play at school, but other than that, no, I don't.
Well, I had to play in school, but that didn't stop me not playing.
Although I used to get out running quite a lot, quite easily. I used to fake having chest pains. It's a whole long story, but that's for another show.
So, having chest pains, that'll get you out of work. Well, I shouldn't even be here now.
Have you really got chest pains?
Well, I've always got chest pains. I always feel as though I'm on the verge of expiring.
You don't like to complain though, do you?
No, I don't, no. I'm going in to have major surgery on Wednesday. I won't be here on Wednesday.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. But don't you
you
worry about me. Shut up.
Can we come visit you?
Oh, that would be lovely.
Bring you some flowers and stuff.
Chocolates,
really
read you a
nice.
magazine.
No, pop them in the post.
Tell you what you missed.
You could do the show from your bed.
I could do, actually, yeah. I could do it live while I'm being, sliced
Recovering.
open. Yeah.
Here's one in the ward. Nick!
I hope they've got hospital radio. Wouldn't that be great? I could wheel myself around and do a little show. Cheer up the patients, you know.
The hospital radio people really don't like real radio people.
What, real radio?
Yeah.
What, the Guardian Media Group? Real radio stations?
Like professionals like us.
Oh, I see. Hospital, well, yeah, obviously, yeah, because, I mean, they're just, well, it's comical how bad they are. People are dying in the wards rather than listen to that stuff. They are actually refusing their medication, hoping that God will take them early rather than listen to another bloomin' request show on hospital radio. I'm not making that up.
I had, when I worked, in inverted commas, at hospital radio, someone sent a request asking for dance music.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, this was a hospital where I guess the average age of the patient was about 70 or 80.
So they weren't after...
No, but that's what I put on. So I'm hoping it was gratefully received.
Yeah, causing much consternation in the geriatric wards.
Yeah.
bits of people lying all over the place as they try to keep up. That's awful.
I used to work on a request show, and for some strange reason it used to go out between 9 and 10 p.m. And I thought no one could hear it because most of them were asleep.
Yeah.
Because they were, knocked off at
Well, it's lights out at about 10, isn't it? They just want you to shut up and go to sleep. Stop moaning, they say. That's part of their kindly bedside manner, the nurses, yeah.
And they had a request, we had a request number you could ring, and it was Matron's Grey Phone, it was called, and it was wheeled around on the trolley. And we always used to give it out and say, call us on Matron's Grey Phone, and it never rang once. We were dying for that thing to ring, and it never rang, ever.
Well, I understand that people who work on student radio and hospital radio, it's where you learn your craft, such as it is.
I learned my craft there.
There's nothing to it. All you got to do is speak. That's it. But people think that you have to go and, learn how to do this job. Honestly, I'm just talking. That's all I'm doing. And you go in, and the truth of the matter is, the only person that's actually excited by your presence is you. That's it. The only person listening to your show is the person who's actually doing your show. No one else cares. By which I mean, at all. Isn't that right, Joan?
No, that's not right.
It is absolutely correct,
And
sir.
why are you going into hospital on Wednesday?
On Wednesday I'm going into hospital because I have torn my meniscus.
Oh, no. What?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Is that a rude thing or not?
No, it isn't, no. You know your knee? Your knee?
Yeah, I know my knee.
Yeah, you know your knee.
Yeah, better than anyone.
Well, the bit that separates the top bone from the bottom bone behind the patella is called the meniscus. It's a spongy thing. And sports people are forever tearing their meniscus. Apparently it's very common. Rugger types do it. People who play football do it. I did it when I was asleep in bed.
Goodness sake.
Can you believe that?
Some dream.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're going to sort it out all on a Wednesday, are they?
Hopefully, yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I can't wait till they give me that that pre-knockout happy juice.
Oh, I hated getting anaesthetic when I was in hospital.
Well, how do you know you're out? Count back from 10, 9, you're out.
No, they give you that injection first.
Yeah.
And that was excruciating. I find it gave me a very nasty feeling. I didn't like that at all.
Oh, well, you want to go with it, Joan?
I couldn't go with it. The 10, 9, 8 thing that was different.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that.
Right.
No, I didn't. Anyway, I really called, of course, for a very important reason, which was that I think that somebody should be sued for fraud to do with light bulbs.
Go on.
Well, I'm a bit stupid, because I was rushing around my supermarket and thinking, I need a bulb, one of the screw-in ones for the lamps, the table lamps.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, 60, right, that's what I get, 60. Picked it up, brought it home. Oh, it says, energy saving, 12 watts equals 60 watts.
Yeah.
Last 6 years, if you only use it for about 2 hours a day, 6 years. Now, for a start, where do I make a note, of the day I bought this bulb?
You could write it on it.
Could you?
Wouldn't
it get a bit dusty after 6 years?
Well, dust it.
Well, I think you're right. Actually,
I think you probably could actually write on... it depends what kind of bulb it is. If it's those little tube things that have been bent, probably not.
No,
but some of them come as with a sort of a rubber cover, don't they? You could probably write on that with a ballpoint.
It looks like an ordinary bulb.
Right.
Really fools you. It looks like an ordinary bulb.
Yeah. I bet it doesn't look like an ordinary bulb when you switch it on.
Oh, my...
You've got to live with that for 6 years.
I put it on, and I thought, don't be ridiculous. This is terrible. It's like going into a piece of the earth or something. It's not like shiny light.
No, it's awful.
And anyway, I thought, but I could be exaggerating. I know I could be exaggerating, so I switched the other one on next to it.
You do like a moan, yeah.
Yeah, which is about, 10 feet away? Well, you never saw the difference. Yeah, it was just so ridiculously different.
Chalk and cheese.
How can they get away with saying equals 60 watts?
I don't know. This technology is not ready yet. They need to make it better before we start taking it on. I know they're rushing to try and save the world, but they're going too fast. Let's take a breath, get the thing sorted, and then we'll happily use it. I'll happily buy a bulb that lasts for 6 years.
What? Yeah,
as long as it doesn't make me look as though I'm in prison.
Can you just see yourself going back after 4 years to the shop and saying, I'm sorry, but this just went? And they're going to say, well, where's your receipt? You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, you might be a little bit older than you are, you know, after 4 years, you might have completely...
I'll get confused.
Forgotten everything.
One of those did blow on me after about 6 months. I remember it well. I'm not kidding you, Joan.
Oh.
Would I lie to you?
Not much. Not much. Tiny little bit.
But it's the light that comes off them that's the problem. It's just horrible, and I won't use them.
Well, this is going back. It's going back with a big complaint that it says something which is totally false on the outside of the box.
I got lights in my house like Blackpool does. I mean, there's like 20 lights light up my living room, and I will not have one of those bulbs.
No.
I don't care if the glaciers do melt and all the polar bears drown.
Definitely not. And talking of ice caps,
yeah,
you know the blizzard that we're supposed to be having at Easter.
Yeah.
Well, in I don't know how many years, I have never made outdoor plans for Easter because Easter can do anything.
It always is rubbish. And I say that, but wasn't it great last year?
I think it might have been better last year. I can't remember really.
I think people were they were walking around with their mouths open. It was so nice.
I can still remember a day we set out on our motorbike. I used to ride pillion and I had a little skirt on, a little top on, you know.
Wow, listen to you.
Rock and roll! And it was all sunny. It was a bit cool, but it was sunny.
Yeah.
And we got down, we were going to visit somebody at Eastbourne. We got down there and they were out.
Going down for a fight, yeah.
They were out. So we went up here.
So you were a grebo, were you, Joan?
What's that?
I think at school we used to have to make a choice between being a mod or a greaser, which we nicknamed grebos.
Yes.
So you were a greaser?
No, I think we stayed out of any of that stuff.
Right.
I think we did. So anyway...
Did you ever hit anybody with a bike chain?
No? It's too short.
Okay.
So we got on the pier and the sun was beaming down and it was lovely all up one side there, the sun beaming down and no breeze, you know. And then about 4 o'clock, so, it's got a little bit cool, you know, we'd get on the motorbike and go home and start to go along the coast road to Brighton. At which point, everything changed. It started to blow a gale, it started to pour with rain, and we literally couldn't keep the bike on the side of the road. It was blown across the road.
Living on the edge,
and
Joan.
we had to travel all the way home like that. What? I mean, that's Easter. That is Easter all over.
Okay, here's the bad news. What is it? What are we in? March. We have April, May, and June. That's a full 3 months to go before it actually gets nice.
Oh.
Don't be tempted to leave the flat until then.
Well, what worries me is that it might turn nice in April for a day or two, or it might turn nice in May.
Well, yes, it always does. A little bit, just it gives you a little hint of what's to come, and then it takes it right back from you.
But you know what we're going to get if that happens?
A cold.
No, terrible is global warming. It'll be all over the papers how dreadful a global warming is. At least with this, they can't say a word, can they?
I suppose so, yeah. They can't get us for global cooling. Although I'm sure they're trying to think of something.
They're trying to.
Yeah. Here, Joan, thanks a lot. Stay warm. Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
0845 6060 973. It's 9:45. LBC Travel with Steve Reed.
Thank you, Nick. It's not too...
Come on, we're running late!
You bet your life we are. We're giving away a 42... Well, giving away is not quite accurate. We are auctioning a 42-inch Samsung Plasma TV every day this week. It's a reverse auction. The lowest bid is that which wins it. It's got, baby, it's got the lot. You'll want to, stroke it, even when it's off. If you want to bid on this item, then here's how to do it. Text LBC plus your bid in pence to 88821. If you were to bid £1.23, you would text LBC 123 to 88821. Bids cost £1.50 plus your standard network rate. Lines close 7 p.m. tomorrow. Bidders must be over 16. See lbc.co.uk for full terms and conditions to bid on this 42-inch Samsung HD-ready Plasma TV, baby. M25. Hello, Jerry.
Good evening, Nick.
Jerry.
Yeah. I'm ringing up to have a moan.
Go on, then.
I just can't believe it. Digital TV. I mean, at the moment, everywhere you go, it's like you just had an advert 2 seconds ago about HDTV.
Yeah.
And they're all going on about HD, digital television.
Mm-hmm.
There's some parts of the country, don't quote me on it, I think it's Humberside, have already switched over, and they've got digital TV in all its glory. We're London, capital city, and do you know when the switchover date is? And apparently, they can't switch it over. They can't give us full power on digital TV until they actually turn analogue off, because it'll interfere, which is why a lot of people can't get it, even though they've got a Freeview box or digital TV or whatever, unless they put up a whacking great big aerial and they're lucky to be in a catchment area. They're having trouble. And
hang on a minute. When you say digital TV, what exactly do you mean? Do you mean Freeview?
Well, you can watch... Well, no, not exactly, but...
You don't mean high definition, do you?
No, I mean digital TV.
Right, okay.
Now, apparently, the switchover... It's, as I say, it's already in the Humberside area. They switched over. We're scheduled... I phoned up today to find out when the London will be switched over, because I want to invest in one of these super-duper tellies.
But we can all get digital TV in London.
No, we can't.
Can't you?
No.
Why not?
Anyway, it's 2012. Another 4 years.
Right, well, there's something to look forward to, eh? Why can't you get digital TV, Jerry?
Well, because I'm in a very low catchment area. I live in Harefield, in a dip, and even though...
You live in a dip? I am so sorry.
Yeah.
You want to get yourself a housemate?
Yeah, well... Anyway, the point about it is, even with a high-power aerial, I still can only get about 50% of the channels.
Right, how about a satellite dish?
When they switch it over, it's not the point. The point is, they're ramming us with all these adverts for digital TV, and they're not even going to turn it over for another 4 years.
Right. That's how they screw you, Jerry.
I think it's obscene. Absolutely ludicrous.
Right, well, it's definitely something to get upset about. What about a satellite dish?
Yeah, well, if you're allowed to put up one, that's fine, but if you're not, you know, like I'm not, that's it.
Oh, come off it, Jerry. There can't be too many planning restrictions. You live in a dip.
You tell my council that.
All right, well, the best of luck. Keep moaning.
I will.
Cheers, Jerry. Ta-da.
Cheers.
Yeah, what would you do about digital television, eh? Blimey, can you imagine the horror? The horror of only having 5 channels. And you wouldn't even be able to pick up the 5th one very well. That would be a full-on nightmare. There's almost nothing I watch on proper television now. It's all on the funny channels. Up and away they are, you know. Although there is something on tonight, which I've been watching it assiduously because it's one of these excellent American series of which there doesn't seem to be any end. They just keep pouring them at us. There's no end of great stuff coming out at the moment. I'm still watching the back end of The Sopranos. Got 4 episodes to go. The episodes in which... Oh, plot spoiler coming up. Put your fingers in your ears and hum loudly to yourself for 10 seconds. Everybody dies. That's very exciting. Can't wait to see that again. And there's Dexter, which I initially backed away from because it seemed a bit icky. There was people getting chopped up all the time, but actually it seems to be very well written. And then the Mad Men about advertising men in the 60s. That also seems to be a quality product. And then this thing that's on tonight, and I must have seen half a dozen of them, and I've still got no idea what's going on. I've never seen a more confusing thing in my life. It's called Damages with Glenn Close. We just do not produce television of that quality in this country. The only thing we can do here now, and even that's in cooperation with American channels, is penguins huddling up for warmth. That's all we can do here. Penguins and, you know, cute furry animals and lions eating things. David Attenborough, that's all we've got. That and horseshoe driveway programmes with women in bonnets. That's all we do.
Oh, period dramas.
Yeah.
Boring.
I saw a pilot for a new TV show yesterday actually. And they're doing, I can't remember what channel it was, but they're showing 6 pilot episodes of 6 different series.
What, just throwing it all at the wall and seeing
and then seeing which one, and the best one is going to get made series or something like that. And
good
it's basically
grief.
called...
what channel is this?
I think it might have been BBC 3, West London 10 or something like that, West 10 London. And it was set around the corner from here. and it was based on the film Kidulthood. Or no, it was made by the same people who did Kidulthood. Did you ever see that film?
No, I didn't.
You missed out.
Well, if they were filming around the corner from here, then they'd be lucky to get out alive. I bet somebody nicked all of their equipment. They'll never make it to the screen.
They filmed on the Hammersmith and City line, and I pointed out bits that I knew.
Oh, I've been there. I've been there.
I got mugged there.
Yeah, I had my sat-nav nicked there. I'm still finding bits of glass in my car. It's incredible how much glass comes off a small side window of a little car. I mean, you could fill a skip with it. It's just incredible, and just still you're finding bits months later. How on earth is that possible?
Because you didn't hoover up properly the first time.
Well, I suppose so, yeah. So anyway, where have we got to so far? Do we want to talk to Tony in Penge? No, we don't. No, I knew that. Even before I asked the question, I knew. Why not? No, all right.
We haven't got time.
No time left. Quite right, too. So it's all about the McCartneys today, and the Daily Mail helpfully printed a list of what she might buy with the £24.3 million that she's supposedly got from Paul. Now, she was married to him for, it was 6 years, wasn't it?
I thought it was 4.
More, 4, okay, 4. Which seems considerably longer than you remember it being, doesn't it? It's almost as though they got married and then divorced in the same breath. But 4 years is a long time. And they've been suggesting what some of the things that she might be able to buy. Fake fur, for instance. The animal-loving Heather would never be seen in real fur, but fortunately she could buy 212,784 chinchilla coats from Fake Fur Fashion at £117.49 each. Dresses. She could buy 7,363 rhinestone mini dresses by Stella McCartney at £3,395 each. But let bygones be bygones, it says. This is what £25 million or so that Heather Mills has just got could buy, according to the Daily Mail. She could buy 3,846 nights at the Harlequin Suite at the Dorchester, which costs £6,500 a night.
What?
I know. Heather is said to have frequented this hotel before her marriage, and it is also a favourite with Arab gentlemen. What does that mean?
Maybe they do a good buffet.
Well, I would think so. In fact, the best buffet I ever had in my life was in Israel. Oh, their breakfast buffet, it's almost worth climbing on the plane to enjoy it. Or, and here's where it gets a little silly, lentils. For the committed vegan, what could be more important? At £4 a kilogram for finest Puyi lentils, she will have enough to buy 6,250 tonnes. Enough to last her 214,041 years. Something to think about, Heather. Hey, Raj. What have we talked about tonight, then, eh?
We spoke about the Scouts.
The Scouts,
yes. Yeah, vices.
Dib.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that just an old thing? Because I never used to have to say dib.
Dob.
No, that's your generation.
No, I never was a part of that militaristic organisation.
Well, what's wrong with it?
What's wrong with what?
The Scouts.
I've got no idea. I was never part of that militaristic organisation. What they do, I've got no clue.
Drunk Scouts, hippie jamborees, rowing teams, sorry.
Yes.
A conflict a day, 2 sleeping pilots.
Oh, yeah.
Top secret Thai massage. I don't know where that came from. Umbrellas and drinks. Baby sham shooters. I
had one of those. I walked out.
Was it good?
No, it was rubbish. Clive's next. LBC.
You're